Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of City Hall Live. Happy New Year. We are back in the Community Convention Center Gallery, and we still have a great exhibit going on in here. And also with us, joining us today, is Dr. Veronica Garcia, the Superintendent of Santa Fe Public Schools, and Dr. Tom Ryan, the Chief Information Strategy Officer for the Santa Fe Public Schools. Good morning and Happy New Year.
Well, good morning and Happy New Year to you, Joe. It's great to be here.
Yes, it is nice to be here.
Thank you for coming. I know you guys are very busy. A lot of things are going on, but the big thing that's going on right now in the public schools is you guys, it's that time of year for the educational technology note campaign that's going to be coming up pretty soon, right?
Yes, and it's a very different kind of election this year. This is a special mail-in ballot, which is the first time for the Santa Fe Public Schools, and I don't even know for the city of Santa Fe if we've had a mail-in ballot before. So I believe this is the first time, and it's a brand new experience, not only for the voters, but for us. And I think we have a mail-in ballot right here, right, Tom?
Yes, every registered voter in Santa Fe County will be receiving an envelope, looks very much like this in the mail. In that will be the written ballot. It will be a self-addressed stamped envelope for you to send it back in. These will be going out on around February 5th. They'll be mailed out to all voters, and then the voters will get this. They'll open it up and vote on the ballot and submit it back in to the official envelope, mail it, but it has to get back before March 5th by 7 p.m. at the county office, or that ballot won't count.
And this is interesting. They don't go by postmark date. So we're asking everyone to get it in by the end of February. That way there is no worry that we got it in on time. Be thinking in your mind, the end of February, but quite frankly, as soon as you get it, please vote. It doesn't cost you a thing to vote. Again, the envelope has a stamp. It's stamped so that there's no charge for postage. And this is new because we know that people are used to going to the ballot box and or to the polls and voting. And so we will be sending out a mailer to explain this, and we'll be reviewing this again in a variety of ways out in the community. But more importantly than the ballot itself is why this election is important. The citizens of our Santa Fe County have been so generous to the Santa Fe Public Schools. And because of that, our students have, I would say, the best access of any district in the state to educational technology. And Dr. Ryan is an expert. We're so lucky to have him here in the state of New Mexico. He does work nationally and internationally in this area. And what would you say about how we're doing in the district in terms of technology?
Well, the community has invested in a wonderful infrastructure that connects kids both in school and allows them to take a device. In fact, all 7th through 12th grade have a take-home computer that they can access educational resources and do some research. And we have equal to or better than any other school district, not only in the United States, but across the world.
So this election will generate $11 million a year for educational technology, and we'll talk about what that's going to, but it's important for the voters to understand that $9.6 million will go to the Santa Fe Public Schools. The remainder will go to the charter schools. So it's not only the Santa Fe Public Schools, but the charter schools in our community will benefit from this election. And it will not raise taxes, which I think is important for everyone to know. This is a continuation of a previous educational technology note that our community voted for, and we're very grateful. So 45% of this funding goes to devices in the classroom and instructional technology, and then we'll talk about the other percentages. So you want to talk a little bit about what the students get around this and around the instructional, the design spaces and whatnot?
Well, nearly half of the monies go straight to the devices that students will be using in the classroom. So on the elementary grades, it goes to a cart of computers. So there'll be 25, 30 devices in each classroom that get charged each night. And then from 7th grade on, as I mentioned earlier, they'll be taking that device home.
Which is awesome, right? I mean, growing up as a kid, I would have loved to have had a Commodore 20 that I could take home, or 64, or that that I could take home and do code or whatever. But that's really awesome that I know that's been implemented for a while because of the other education, the ETNs that have happened, but it's so successful and gives everybody a fair chance.
That's the
right?
That's the part there, is that it gives all of our students an opportunity to have access to technology, to be successful. And it's no longer like, it was more exciting when we were younger. I mean, for me, well, it didn't exist when I was in school, but say for you. But now this is basic. You can't really do research. You have to have a computer. You have to have access to it. It's about as basic for us as having pencil and paper, right? Nobody says, oh, but gosh, we have notebooks for our kids. Well, now it's just as basic to have an electronic notebook, correct?
Yeah, it's an equity issue because we want to make sure all of our kids have access to high-quality educational resources. It's also something, technology is not going away, and our kids need to be prepared, literate in the use of technology, good research, to make good decisions for the future. And it's an opportunity for us to make sure that our kids can compete worldwide with the skills necessary to be successful in college or in career.
Yes.
And, it is not only the students, but also the teachers teaching them that also need to continue to develop their skills in the use of educational technology. So roughly 30% of the funding will go to educator professional development and instructional support. Digital learning coaches in all of our schools go in, either work with students, and I was in a class recently, Tom, where the kids were learning to code, and the instructional coach was right there with the teacher, coaching the teacher, coaching the kids on a coding application. And it was so much fun. We actually, they were working on an application. And, but it's also how they integrate computer science K-12. And it not only prepares our students for the world of work or career, as Dr. Ryan said, but it also is an economic driver for our community because of the contracts, right? Many of those go to local communities, vendors in our community.
Yes, we have several contractors that, IT Connect and others that are local, that support our schools not only with the technology, but the technicians to repair our network, and support our kids, and as well as instructional support. As Dr. Garcia said, the coaches, we train them with the best practices in the use of technology and computer science and how kids and teachers would leverage these to improve instruction, and then they work with teachers and the schools to make sure that those skills are transferred.
And what an opportunity, right? Public school, I can go to a public school now as a child, and I say, you know what, I want to be a video game designer. And we're going to teach, we have a class for that. We can teach you code and how to code and program and things like that. And it starts in the elementary school level.
Yeah, so it's not only just a class, let's say you're going to take a coding class, but computer science is interwoven in the curriculum, in language arts, in mathematics, in science, throughout, as well as outright just computer science. But it is integrated, and you are absolutely right. This elementary school that I was in, they were third graders who were coding, third graders, and the logic and what they had to apply and the critical thinking. But not only that, you know what else was happening? It's the best example of project-based learning. The kids were learning cooperation, collaboration, communication skills. It was phenomenal just to see that in action. And then the smallest percentage of the funding, which is only 10%, goes to fund the technical support. When the laptop isn't working, when they're having trouble with connectivity, you have no idea of all the different things that you run into, right, when you're using technology, and you have to have I mean, our teachers, our principals are not technicians. So we have to have people there to support them, and then also to ensure student privacy, safety, and security.
That, as we hear around the world and throughout the United States, protecting information that's pertinent to students, providing a structure that supports safety for them and make sure that that environment is safe and secure is critical, and that is part of what these funds will help support.
And also, I mean, if something were to break down or there was some issue of connectivity to the internet or just something, you know, like the on button wasn't on or something, like, it can hold up instruction. So it's always nice to have someone there that's going to be able to take care of you, come and say, hey, listen, this is what's up, we'll get this taken care of, and you can move on with your lesson, and the kids could learn.
And it's not just even the computers, it's like the whiteboards, if you've been in a classroom.
Yes.
And, you know, and I remember when those were like a bells and whistle kind of device, and now, I mean, that's very basic in a classroom.
Right.
And you see the teacher being able to just touch that whiteboard and, you know, show a graphic or a list of what the kids are needing to do, and then track how the kids are doing. And I mean, I can't even begin to describe how the students also know how to use it. And again, all of these skills are critical in their future success when they leave the Santa Fe Public Schools. And so, you know, what we would say to the voters, so what happens, right, if we don't have this? Well, first of all, we're going to lose jobs. And that's not good for the economic status of the city. But more importantly, our kids are not going to have the kind of access. We're not going to be able to refresh our computers that are now starting to age out. We're not going to be able to continue our software licenses. It's going to put our educational technology program backwards.
Yes, you know, we had an outage by one of the providers across the country that also knocked out cell phones, and there's been some editorials about the impact of not being able to make the call, not being able to get the resources, not being able to get emergency services. Well, the same thing has happened in our schools. We deliver instructional content through the internet. There's textbooks and reading materials and assignments. And we've gotten to the point where if we lose internet access, we lose the ability to effectively teach kids. We got to go back 50 years to how do we give them the instructional materials, resources, and support they need. And so much of, and to your point about the coding, it isn't that we're just teaching kids how to write computer language. The whole idea with the problem-solving effort that Dr. Garcia talked about is how do we give the kids critical thinking skills? How do we make them own their learning? How do, when they have a problem put in front of them, how do they solve it? As opposed to the old way when I went to school and teachers fed out the information, I tried to memorize it, regurgitate it on a test. What we're trying to do in our English classes, our science classes, is challenge this child with a problem that they use a bunch of resources to solve, and a lot of those resources are either in the classroom as a computer, et cetera, or they're on the internet. And we've expanded the school day from, instead of just the 8 to 3 kind of, it's 24/7. And we can see kids turning in assignments because, like me, if something's due on Wednesday, Tuesday night at midnight is a hot time to get everything in. Last minute.
Okay.
I can track it.
Yeah, so I mean, this is great. I mean, because it's not something that we like for you to prove this so we can get a bunch of stuff. It really has an effect on the community as well, and track record shows that this has made a huge impact on the learning process for kids in the schools.
And our district is excelling in this area. We just had a student that won the 3rd Congressional District App Challenge, building an app, you know, and that was for our entire congressional district. And I believe that student was German Rojo from Capitol High School that won that. 2 years ago, the Santa Fe High won the state computing challenge, supercomputing challenge. That's a big deal. And I always say, sorry, Dr. Steinhaus, who's a superintendent in Los Alamos, but I always say we beat Los Alamos. You know, we have won other awards for our teachers and our students in the area of computer science. And so we want to maintain that momentum, continue to rise in our sophistication in the use of these materials. Our teachers' professional development has grown tremendously, but we know we get new teachers, we need to get them built up, and then we need to take it to the next level. And that's why those instructional coaches are so critical. Recently, we were accepted to present at the National School Boards Association Conference in Philadelphia. We'll be presenting, I think it's in March, about our program here in the Santa Fe Public Schools, because it is, I think, a flagship around computer science and computer technological use of using technology, in the schools. And so hence we were selected. And so I think we have a lot to be proud here, and we don't want to lose the momentum. But the irony of this, just a little sidebar, is that this is an education technology note, but they have to vote using pencil and paper and send this in, right?
On a paper ballot.
A paper ballot with a stamp. And we know that there are many people who I rarely send out, unless I'm sending a birthday card or a special note to someone. I pay all my bills online, right? And so I was talking to somebody recently and having a younger person that was helping me do some mailing at home, and they had not ever written out an actual, written out an envelope and put a stamp on it. And I'm not kidding. This is, so.
It's a lost art.
Well, we're just in a different era,
yeah,
right?
we are.
And so this is, it's the irony in the election. But the ballots will be going out. You might want to show them again.
I have a question about the ballot.
Yeah.
Is it the only thing that's on the ballot?
Yes.
Okay.
It is just one question.
Okay.
It's just a yes or no vote, right?
That's right. It's in Spanish and English, and there's a bubble for or a bubble against. And we're excited about the opportunity for this
For or
election.
against. And so you just, sign it, put it in the envelope that comes to you, and then it's already stamped. You just put it in the mail, or you can take it to the county
Okay, I was
clerk's
gonna ask
office.
that.
Please get this in by the end of February. Is this not a leap year, right? So it's February 28th. So please get it in on time. And if for some reason you forgot, then you can carry it in. It has to be in the county clerk's office no later than, is it March 5th?
Yeah, March 5th.
At 7 p.m. And so it's an interesting, usually they go by postmark. That doesn't matter. It has to be in. So please get it in right away. And you'll be hearing from us on social media, the newspaper, radio, TV, to get more information. Soon there'll be a video online. Our frequently asked questions will be online for anyone to be able to get more information about this education technology note. Or contact us, at the Santa Fe Public Schools. Our website is www.sfps.info, so you can get information there as well.
Okay.
One other thing
Yes,
is
sir.
on the ballot, you will be required to sign your name to make sure that the ballot is counted. But it's very simple and very easy to complete.
So I have a question. What if so someone's watching this, so they see you in going around and doing the rounds for media and stuff, and they don't receive that in the mail?
They should contact us, but it should, or actually the county clerk's office. You
Okay.
need to be a registered voter.
Okay.
So if you're not registered, and I don't know if with this what the window of time to get registered, but I would say go get registered right away if you are not registered.
Okay.
We will also have a video. It's a little screenshot about how to vote in this mail-in election in case there is any confusion whatsoever. But it's fairly simple, and you don't have to go out in this cold right now.
Yes.
You can vote in the comfort of your own home.
That's right.
What's important is just get that ballot in the mail.
And we recognize and are excited that this will give an opportunity for even more people to vote in this election and support our schools.
Yes, absolutely.
And the future investment in our kids.
That's right. And great things are happening.
Great things are happening. and will
I've
continue.
witnessed it. I've seen it.
So this will be the second ETN election?
This will be the second election. There was three. There was one that was done with the board, and then this will be the
This will
first
be the
5-year,
second election
5-year.
for the, because this will be the second election.
Yes.
And so I think that we have been good stewards of the taxpayer dollars in these last 5 years. And so we really hope that you will get out and vote beginning February 5th when the ballots go out.
Great.
You know, another exciting thing that we're doing, we're looking at, off of this design theory, helping kids to be problem solvers, is creating these innovation centers or design learning labs for our computer science initiative. The board has supported a computer science through K through 12 in all of our schools. So we're developing a lab space for kids to have hands-on projects, to solve robotics, and interweaving that so that it's not just a class that they take, but how do I solve problems and create a solution within my core content classes like English, math, and social studies. And so this will give teachers a whole different opportunity to engage kids, and it'll give kids an opportunity to show off the skills they have. And when we had our tech expo, you could see the kids that are all excited.
I went to that. That was pretty amazing.
The robot that followed the soccer ball around.
That was pretty.
The kids are doing some amazing things.
Creating virtual reality.
Yeah.
There was one booth that I went to where the kid could look at, through this set of glasses, and the students had created a virtual reality. I mean, the skill set of these students would just, it's awesome. It's inspiring and exciting. And nationally, 87% of teachers that have been surveyed say that, technology has a positive effect on their teaching, that it actually enhances their ability to engage and to teach at deeper, richer levels.
Yeah, my brother's a teacher, and he says it really helps him a lot.
The first time I think I learned that.
Did you know that?
No.
I'm Milagro, New Mexico history.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
No, I just forgot.
That's all right.
Yes, I was going to give you a bad time. I was going to say, he better be teaching in the Santa Fe Public Schools.
He is. Well, thank you so much. So again, just real quick, the dates. They should be receiving the ballots by when?
They go out February 5th.
Okay.
And the election's over March 5th.
And they need to be by 7 o'clock in the county clerk's office.
So send that out before the end of February.
That's what
Send
we're
it
saying.
right when you get it.
Send it out.
Right
Send it out when you get it.
That's right.
We don't want it to get lost in, the
and
mail
other
on
stuff,
top
right?
of the kitchen table, like
Yes,
my mail gets lost sometimes.
Exactly, and the Costco
And then I'm like,
ad or
oh
something.
gosh, we were invited to this great party, but it's buried.
Yes.
So don't let that happen to you.
No,
Get out and vote. Thank you so much. And we just, again, want to thank the voters of Santa Fe County for your support, your belief in our students. We would not be able to provide the quality of education that we are if it weren't for you. And so please get out and vote. And please know that we don't take your vote for granted. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on today. Appreciate it.
Nice to see you again.
Dr. Ryan.
Thank you.
Dr. Garcia. Thank you again.
Dr. Bader.
No, I'm not.
We'll see
Thanks.
you.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. This has been City Hall Live. I want to thank our producers as well. And folks, we'll see you next week. Have a safe week. Have a great week. Adios.